Hi, we're the RAGAMUFFINs. I'm Dan.
I'm Alex.
We went to Truck Festival. James is here. He might chip in if he has any questions every now and then. He didn't go, but
I'm here.
Maybe he'll have some questions. Hello, James.
Hello. Tell me about your experience at Truck Festival.
Should we go from the start?
Let's go from the start.
I mean, for starters, we kind of went in separate groups and kind
Yeah.
of just bumped into each other if and when we could.
Well, this is sort of going to be a way for us to just retell our weekends to each other.
Yeah,
Really.
it is. We haven't really talked about it
No.
yet, deliberately, to kind of save
Yeah.
it for now.
I arrived at, I think, maybe 12:30. It was maybe a half an hour drive. It's very, very local to us, so we go pretty often.
Oh, that's in contrast to myself, because this was my first ever time, believe it or not. But my first kind of experience, my first impression wasn't that great, because they were very late opening the gates.
Yeah, my group was there about an hour-ish before gates was due to open, which was 1 o'clock. They, at maybe 12:30, bunched the queue up pretty tight, and gave the impression we're all bunched in because they're going to open the gates a little bit early, start getting people in. Not true. The gates didn't open for an hour, so it was 2 o'clock by the time we were in. There was heat. It was a little bit spitting.
That was the worst bit about me. Like, there seemed to be no communication about what was going on. Apparently, the reason in the end was that they were still building the site.
Yeah.
Which I can understand. Like, a couple of days before that, we'd had like the hottest days in existence in the history of ever. So obviously, you wouldn't want people working out.
Yeah, that's
in that heat, which is fair enough.
But it was the
let
lack
us
of the
know.
communication.
Give us a shout. Give us a shout like before we leave home, saying, "Hey up, gates might open a bit late."
I mean, to be honest, even before we got to the festival, I've never seen a festival try so hard to aggravate its customer base
Yes.
before they've even arrived.
Oh yeah.
Because
I mean, I'd forgotten about that, to be fair.
they banned gazebos.
And again, this was on like the Tuesday, and people would be arriving at the festival on the Thursday. So for some people, this may be their only festival of the summer, and they've brought a gazebo especially for it, and now they're being told, "Nope, can't bring that." And also, this was like the hottest day ever.
Well, that was the thing.
So it was a bit like telling people, "Hey, it's really important to stay hydrated and stay in the shade when it's really hot.
But don't bring your own shade.
You can't bring your own shade."
It felt just a bit sneaky for it to be.
To me, because the reason they gave for it was that gazebos take up, quote, valuable camping space. So for me, that kind of raised alarm bells. Like, have they overbooked the camping?
Yes.
Well, yeah, which we found out.
Yeah, it
they probably
transpired that the capacity had been, I think, quite severely increased from last time. But it didn't feel like the site was any bigger.
Yeah.
If anything, the site felt maybe even smaller. And it just was like, I mean, a tin of sardines would have looked at that camp and gone, fucking hell, it's a bit packed, isn't it?
What was the capacity, do you think, there this year?
I've heard someone say 25, someone say 30,000. I don't think it was 30,
No,
but 25 feels...
I heard 20, which is still a lot.
I don't think in the past it's ever gone... I might be completely wrong, and maybe I'll fact check this and correct myself on screen, but in the past it never feels like it's over 15. So even if it's gone from 15 to 20...
Google says 10,000, which is definitely incorrect, because there was definitely more than 10,000 people there. Like, looking at the people that were around the main stage.
It felt like you've used this whole, it takes up
By
camping
the way,
space.
we will come on to some good points at some
Yeah.
point. We're just going to take this kind of day by day, and from the start, it was already a bad experience, negative experience, I guess.
Yeah, it just felt a bit unfair to, like, during the heat that we were experiencing, bang gazebos, and then when you get there and you realise how tightly packed. I mean, I saw quite a lot of people taking out other people's guy ropes so that they could pitch tent to get enough space to pitch tents. Like, first of all, it's a shitty thing to do, but, like, that's a reaction to the situation that you're in. Like, if there's no space for you to pitch...
Yeah, if there's
you gotta do what
physically
you
no
gotta do.
space, it's all every man for themselves, right?
Yeah. So that was sort of...
Which brings me on to another point of, when you buy early entry for a festival, I feel like it's done on the kind of basis that you're going to get exclusive access to the campsite. You're there before the main bulk of people, so you can find yourself a good spot, for example. It felt like a lot more people were there on the Thursday than on the Friday, which is when you'd theorise that more people would arrive.
It seemed like people were struggling on the Friday to find anyone.
Oh yeah,
And it's something that I think I felt. I mean, Download was massive, and you could have turned up at any day and pitched. But Trees was a little bit of the same. It's like if you don't have early entry, you're punished in a way. I understand why they want to sell early entry tickets because it's more people in the festival. It's another day of people spending. But it should be
it
capped.
should be restricted. Yeah,
because you want to have some feel of, like you said, exclusivity and like just a bit of comfort.
Well, I mean, there's no way that my group could have arrived on the Friday. There wouldn't have been space for our tents. I think if you're arriving with a small like one-man pop-up, you may have squeezed in somewhere.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was crammed already by Friday.
And another thing that sort of in advance of actually getting to the festival that didn't get a very good reaction online was a limitation to how much alcohol you could bring. You know, I understand it's a festival that it needs to make money, and I've got no issue supporting the bar. I think 2000 Trees were very transparent in...
Yeah, I've been comparing this approach to 2000 Trees as well. Truck was very much like, we want you to spend money at the bar. Well, no, they didn't directly say that, did they?
Yeah.
It was, there's a limit on how much alcohol you can take in. We'll be checking. And they did. Yeah, you can't bring more than this amount of alcohol. Whereas 2000 Trees were like, look, we haven't had a festival on for 2 and a bit years. We're an independent festival. We're a small festival. We need the bar money to like keep us going. Please spend money at the bar, but we won't like make you. That was the way to go about it, I thought. Whereas Truck were just like, nope, can't do it. Don't do it. Which, if anything, makes you more likely to try and sneak some stuff in.
Yeah, it just makes you. To me, it felt like we'd been almost tricked, especially once we got into the arena and saw the bar prices, which was not good. And it was like, you know, you're at the gates like unpacking people's bag, and if they've like one can over the limit, taking that can away, and then you turn around and offer those prices. I was looking at the social media comments before we left in like the week running up to Truck, and it was people just being like, didn't realise you were the fun police now. And that was the impression that...
And no response from the festival as well.
It sounds like there's been a lot of issues with just general communication between the festival and then the attendees. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, another big issue... I promise we'll get on to some positives.
Yeah, we did have a good time.
Yeah.
We'll get there. Yeah. But this I mean, we're still at the start of the festival here. We've only just arrived.
Phone signal was...
That was what the phone signal was like.
It was non-existent. So,
which again is fine. You don't have to have your phone at a festival. But we were advised by the stewards that we would be receiving like security updates and any kind of information updates via Twitter, which we couldn't access.
It's just ridiculous. And like there were a couple of set times that were moved that if you didn't have the app preloaded on your phone, you wouldn't have known about. It's just little things like that that are very simple. And I hate to keep doing it, but Trees had little chalkboard signs up. Here are all the changes. These bands have dropped off. They've been replaced by this band. This set time is now this. You can walk past it and see it everywhere. Like, that's not out of the realms of possibility for Truck to have done.
I think the frustrating thing is all the problems I had with Truck were very small things, but there were so many of them that they just all added up. None of them were enough to completely ruin the weekend.
No.
By no means.
But it's enough to...
It's just a bit annoying, isn't it?
It's enough to make you grumble, like...
Because it was all preventable stuff.
So we eventually get in.
Yeah, we're in. It's Thursday. We go and see some bands.
Who did you see?
I don't think I saw anyone until Blossoms, to be honest.
No, nor did I.
No, we saw a little bit of Vistas. I lie.
Good.
They were good. We didn't like fully watch them like in the crowd sense. We kind of just wandered around the arena while they were on.
Yeah.
But they were a nice soundtrack to our first ponder at the arena, I guess.
Yeah, the arena was very nice. The layout is very good, and it's the same sentiment that we have with Trees. It's small enough that you can nip back to your tent in between bands. You can literally hear a band starting and be at the set by the end of that song. Like, it's a very small site.
I think the difference for me with this festival was so many of our festivals this summer, we've had so many bands that we wanted to see that we've been there with Josh with his like Paper, Clash Finder. Like, we need to go here at this time. We need to go and see this band, and this band. Maybe we've got like 10 minutes to get food here before we go and see this band.
Leaving sets early.
Whereas this Truckfest weekend was a bit more relaxed. We could kind of just wander around, do what we wanted to do. Yeah, let's go and see this band. Hey, let's go and get some food now.
I mean, I won't say the lineup is bad.
No, it's just...
But it's not really
so much our
us.
thing. Yeah.
And it is a step down from what was booked for 2020 and 2021.
Yeah, I mean, we booked our tickets when Royal Blood were headlining with Idols as like a guest, sub-headliner.
But Blossoms were very good.
I did enjoy what Blossoms were good fun. I don't really listen to them much, like on record. I think they're a little bit kind of not boring, but they don't grab my attention as much. But it was nice to kind of just chill out, have a £6.50 beer, and just have some fun.
Moving on to Friday, I'll be honest. I didn't see a lot of bands over the whole weekend.
I didn't see too many. There were some days that were busier than others.
Yeah,
I've got a screenshot somewhere.
I think my day started with Yard Act.
They're supposed to be very, very good.
Very good. A lot of post-punk for me can sort of bleed into each other. Like, if it's not Idols, I sometimes have a hard time discerning who it is. But they were very, very good, and you could tell that people were very, very keen for their set. Like, it's not really a demographic or a style that I'm very familiar with, but you can do nothing but respect, like, the fact that people were really, really enjoying themselves. So, yeah, all credit.
I heard a lot of people saying that they should have been higher up on the bill, or perhaps on the main stage.
They're listed on the lineup as a special guest afternoon slot,
right?
And they went to play. Ooh, fuck, I can't remember, but they said we're playing another festival tonight. So they were like a special afternoon slot, and
so
they had to leave immediately and play another festival.
Okay,
because they did a little like, is Truck Festival better than whatever? I don't know what it was called.
I can't remember what else was on. Was it Kendall? No, Kendall Calling was the weekend after, I think.
I can't think what it was, but they went to play another festival, so they were on pretty early as like a special guest slot. But they were very good.
The first band I saw on the Friday was Me Rex, who I saw their vocalist do a solo set supporting Aaron West and the Roaring Twenties.
Okay.
Thought he was really good, so I thought it would be good to check out what they're like as a full band. Really enjoyed it. They've got an interesting concept where they've released an album with like, I can't remember how many, it's like 40-something, 30-second songs, which, because of the way they're written, like this, and the start and the ends kind of weave into each other. So you just hit shuffle, and the idea is every time you listen to it, you're going to hear the songs in a completely different order. And there's so many, like, almost an infinite number of times that you can listen to it, and it'll be completely really different each time. It's a very interesting concept, and it meant that their set list was like 1 million songs long.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were really great live.
Did you catch any of Seagulls?
Saw a couple of songs in passing as I was on my way to see Pulled Apart by Horses, I think, who were one of my bands of the weekend. Probably the thing on my lineup that's like a bit more our kind of area.
Yeah.
A bit more moshy, a bit more aggressive. They were really, really good. I actually enjoyed this set more than the 2000 Trees one, despite it not being in the forest. Yeah, it was great fun. I managed to bump into Josh there as well. Yeah, again, because of the lack of phone signal, we kind of couldn't meet up that much over the weekend. It was only if we, by chance, bumped into each other.
It was just another thing that was frustrating, like just another.
Yeah, although that's maybe out of their control.
Yeah.
But unless there's a way to put up some kind of booster, I don't know.
Is that even a thing?
I mean, Trees had a Wi-Fi signal, didn't they? So.
Yeah, maybe just put some Wi-Fi.
I know we keep comparing this to Trees, but they're kind of similar size festivals, similar distance from where we live. So,
I saw Sigrid. Did you see Sigrid?
I did see Sigrid. Yeah, I thought she was quite good.
This was my favourite set of the weekend.
Oh, really?
Well, I only saw about 6 in total, so it's not many to pick from. I thought she was just really fun. I like a lot of her songs, unapologetically. So,
something that annoyed me is I am sure that you said you'd be on the left side of the stage to see Sigrid, and then when I watched the footage back, you're on the right side of the stage.
I did.
So I spent most of the set in the back of my mind thinking, Alex should be around here somewhere. I'll keep an eye out for him. And then when you sent me the footage for the edit, he's over on the right-hand side.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. The problem was the group that I was with, they went right, and I was it was too difficult for me to herd them back up and go, actually, we need to go on the other side.
Never go right, always left.
Always left, come on.
You know what happened then? You know what happened like towards the end of Sigrid's set?
Fucking rain.
It bloody rained.
Can't believe it.
For pretty much the first time in our entire festival season this year.
And it was during Bad Life as well, so it was actually quite cute.
We've been so lucky this year with the weather. And
we have.
There we are, bit of rain.
It did mean that myself and my group retreated to our tents for a bit. And
yeah, I mean, myself and Rob, who you'll know from his Perfect gig, and if you've watched the truck vlog as well, he features very heavily in that. Myself and him got separated from the rest of the group for Sigrid, and we kind of retreated back to the tent to get some waterproofs, and then back into the arena for Bombay Bicycle Club.
Well, must have been nice.
They were all right. They started with a bit of a banger, and then, I mean, I only know sort of maybe 4 or 5 Bombay songs. They played a couple of them at the start, and then as the set went on, it felt like it was starting to just, at least for me, just drag a little bit.
Yeah.
Kind of towards the end, we made our way back to the tent.
Well, we were at camp. We'd gone back to retrieve coats, have some drinks, and we started to sort of lose track of time. And then suddenly, what do I hear? Oh, is that Bombay opening with the only song I know by them? Oh, excellent. Guess I'll just... So, by that point...
I mean, you were camped quite close to the arena, though, weren't you? You could,
we could
hear it quite well.
But at that point, I wouldn't have got there in time to actually see that song. And so, by the time that song had passed, it was like, well, let's just not bother then. So we just... I think Josh went... Surprisingly, Josh turned around at one point and said that he thinks Bombay are his most streamed artist.
Okay.
Which is a very... big surprise.
That surprises
me.
me.
Josh is a little...
seems like more of a little hardcore.
Yeah, a little hardcore kid, yeah. So, him and his flat feet dancing away to Bombay.
What was he two-stepping to?
Sam Fender.
And Sam Fender played on the Saturday, which we'll talk about now. This festival's kind of a similar size in terms of the site to Trees, isn't it? So it was quite easy if you wanted to wander over to the arena for a bit, you could just go and do that, which is what we did on Saturday. We went and kind of saw a bit of the Oxford Symphony Orchestra while we grabbed some lunch, which looked like great fun. We were right at the back, but there's some mosh pits, a little bit of ballet. Those musicians probably only get that kind of atmosphere at Truck, because they play every year. They play every year.
Same with Mr. Motivator, but they must love it because like you said, it's like a one-off. They're used to people sat in a room just watching,
giving a polite clap between songs,
and then when it's like circle pits to the Nutcracker. On this day, I felt the effects of not having a gazebo in our camp because I had basically a heat-induced coma for about 2.5 hours.
My camp kind of strategically placed ourselves right up against the fence where there were some slightly overhanging trees, so we could kind of follow the sun around a little bit, but still not as effective as a gazebo.
So I missed a lot of the day. I think my day started with Baby Queen on main stage.
Okay.
Who is just a really fun pop artist. I only know one of her songs, but I very much enjoyed hearing it live. So
like I said, we went and got some lunch, watched the symphony orchestra, went back to the camp, and basically just drank until sports team were on at 5:30.
How were they?
They were good, yeah.
I've heard a lot of good things, but I've never really listened.
I didn't enjoy them as much as I hoped I would, but I think I had quite a bit of hype for them. But they were still good fun. Their vocalist was all over the place, having a good time. Which again, like we've said many times before, if the band's having a good time, I'll have a good time. We went to try and see Blocks on the Nest because we saw them supporting Twin Atlantic, but it was packed. There's a lot of people trying to see Blocks.
No room at the inn.
No room. We had to kind of stand at the side a little bit, heard a few songs, and then wandered back to the Truck stage after a few drinks to see Khalees.
How was it?
It was good fun. I mean, like I said, there weren't many bands that we wanted to see, so we kind of just drank a lot, which made Khalees that much more fun, I think.
I can imagine.
She played kind of 2 variations of Milkshake.
James is just perked up at that.
Little Nirvana cover.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a very good time. And it warmed us up very nicely to see probably my highlight of the weekend, the Kooks.
I think we probably caught a good 90% of this set. Very, very enjoyable. And I'm going to say it, they should have headlined over Sam Fender.
Yeah, maybe.
I think, personally.
I think they put on a better show than Sam Fender, but Sammy Boy probably brings in more ticket sales, doesn't he?
The thing, not to get too ahead of ourselves, but the thing is, like you said, when the artist is having fun, it's more fun. And maybe it was just because we were far back, but to me, it didn't seem like Sam Fender was that bothered.
Maybe. Anyway, let's talk about the Kooks.
Yes, sorry, the Kooks.
It just felt like a great balance of, because they've got a new album out, a great balance of kind of some newer stuff, and then some self-awareness that they know that everyone's there for the hits. I thought it was really nice that they opened with Seaside, with the vocalist playing acoustic on his own, and then the band kind of following him out. Then we had like our whole camp there together, just bouncing along, singing along, having a lovely time. I did like at one point, they were like, yeah, we're going to play Naive, but not yet, all right?
Good to be self-aware, isn't it?
Yeah. Then what happened Saturday night?
Well,
did we do anything Saturday night?
My camp... Well, have you got anything more to say about Sam Fender?
No, not really.
17
It was
going on,
it was
it was
all right. Yeah.
I don't know. It's not that it was bad. It was just it's not. I'm not probably the target audience for this festival.
Yeah.
So, if you were there and you liked it, let me know.
Wasn't headliner material for me.
My group tried to go and see something that my brain can't comprehend anything worse than Elvana, and that's exactly what my group wanted to go and see. But it was packed. So like 3 of them pushed their way in, and the rest of us were like, can't be asked. So we sat outside and just chilled for a bit, and then went to bed.
We all went back to camp, drank quite a lot, and then we were like, hey, a few of us were like, hey, let's go to the arena, see what's going on. We hung around in like one of the DJ tents for a little while, and then we thought, hey, let's try and see if we can see what the silent disco is like. Not realising that unlike Trees, where you can kind of be anywhere and be free roam for the silent disco, you have to like queue up and like get given your pair of headphones and get like entry into the stage where it is. So yeah, a girl overheard me saying, hey guys, let's try and get the silent disco, and someone was like, yeah, no chance, mate, you're not going to get in.
Yeah. Well, the queue.
So then we got cheesy chips and we went back to camp.
The queue for it was near the rocking chair, which is where the Elvana set was. So when we were stood outside just chilling, and I went, what's that the queue for? And I went to go and have a look, and I was like, I cannot believe that's the queue for the
bloody
silent disco.
TPD and their popularity.
Here it comes again, the Trees comparison. But like the fact at Trees you could pick up your headphones at any point.
Yeah, and I think that's the reason you've got a queue, is the fact that like there isn't a deposit system or anything. You just get given the headphones and then you give them back as you leave. Whereas with Trees, you just pay like a 20 quid deposit. You can go wherever you like with your headphones. You can be sat in your camp if you want. You're still in range somewhere. And those headphones are yours for the whole weekend. And you can just knock about wherever you want with them. Trees was my first silent disco, so maybe this is the norm, what Truck do.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
But yeah, it felt like you would have had to have gone straight to join that queue after Sam Fender if you were going to get into that silent disco. Much. Which, with the bar prices that we mentioned, I wouldn't have been doing.
No. And then on to the Sunday.
Sunday. This is where the campsite had started to get a little bit manky, inhumane.
Well, this would be a good chance for me to talk about Club Cool. No, it's not called Club Cool. Club Class, which is the premium toilets and showers thing. I paid 42 Great British pounds for it, but in my eyes, I got my money's worth because I could safely have a poo.
Could you just shower whenever you wanted and stuff?
Shower. They closed at, I think, 11 every night and opened at 8. So if you needed to go to the toilet in the night time, obviously you had to just use general.
That's pretty good, because the general charge for like one shower was like, if you showered every day, you've got your money's worth basically out of that 40 something quid.
But even for me, it was just the knowledge of like, I don't have to go into an absolutely rancid portaloo and try and navigate a mid-air squatting.
So to describe the portaloos, they essentially just hadn't bothered to empty them. They were overflowing. You just open one and think, well, that's a bit messy. I'll try this next one. Same story. Every single one along like our side of the campsite was just unusable, which meant a bit of a walk to another one, which is fine. It's not a big site, but
it still shouldn't be the case.
50% of the toilets in the campsite are unusable.
Yeah.
And all you have to do is empty them. Like, they weren't dirty because people had smeared shit up the wall or something like you get somewhere like Download.
It was just...
Or more likely Reading and Leeds.
Yeah.
It was just that they'd been neglected. They hadn't emptied them, which was a shame. But like I said, it's something very small, but it impacts you, and I think, and it's so preventable. which I hope
Mm.
is something that Truck can kind of see
Yeah.
and just make better for next year, because
Yeah.
I'd have no complaints if they just
Yeah,
like I said, these
everything's fixable.
these are all preventable things.
Yeah.
And they're all very small things. It's just there's so many of them. And while right next to the toilets was water points. But when I say water point, it's one tap for essentially a couple of thousand people.
But when you limit or ban gazebos, there's no real shade in the camping area.
Mm-hmm.
Shade in the arena is really limited, and water points are,
And then if you want to fill up your
scarce.
water bottle, you've got to
Yeah.
queue for an hour.
especially in the heat that we were experiencing that whole week. You know, it was hot running up to festival. It was hot at the festival. I don't know. And
Again,
it's not just
it's
truck.
a small thing
Yeah.
that is really fixable.
And it's not just truck, this one, because I felt the same feeling at Trees. If Trees hadn't had the forest stage, shade would have been very, very limited, and it would have been exactly the same issue. Not enough water points, not enough shade.
But like the thing is as well, in the arena at Truck, the water points were like the big sinks that had like 6 taps on them.
Yeah.
Why can't we have one of those in the campsite?
Well, there was one in the toilets right by the arena entrance.
All right. But in
the
the
one
campsite,
round,
it was just
one singular tap.
a tap on a stick. Which, like, I always wake up really early at festivals anyway. Like, I'm like at 6 o'clock, I'll be down filling my water bottle up and stuff, and that was fine. But by like 7 or 8 o'clock, when people have woken up dehydrated and hungover, there's a huge queue to get water, and it would just take ages. And it gets to a point where some people are just going to go, you know what, I just won't drink any water, and then you're going to get some medical problems. And there were people. Sam Fender had to stop a couple of times because people were passing out.
Just needs a bit more thought and care put into it, I think.
In terms of bands on the Sunday, what did you do? Where did you go?
We saw Alfie Templeman, who originally was scheduled to headline the Nest, but he was bumped up to an afternoon slot on the Market stage. And I didn't know a lot of his songs, but again, it was just one of those things where it's nice, where the whole group's together, everyone's just having a little boogie and just enjoying just good, really good, fun, easy to listen to music. So, yeah, Alfie Templeman was great.
We did a similar thing to the Saturday where we wandered down and got lunch early in the day. We went and got motivated by Mr. Motivator.
How was it?
Motivational. It was interesting. It was something different, something you don't really see at every festival. Got some lunch. We went to that. There's a whole food court tent where I believe all the proceeds, all the profits went to charities.
Yeah,
which was
great,
very good.
Yeah,
pretty reasonably priced as well. I had like a steak sandwich for like £7, which is
the thing is
all right for a festival.
You can
and when you know that the profits from that are going to charity, great stuff.
I'd rather be overcharged at the charity.
And I think
tent.
it was mostly like local businesses as well and local produce. We did have we followed up on our Download tradition as well and had a Yorkshire pudding on the Sunday.
Very nice. I thought about getting one, but I didn't.
Yeah, we went for it.
Was it as good?
Just as good.
Nice. I think later on in the afternoon, towards the evening, we were in a very perfect spot at our camp where me and Josh sat with with the rest of our camp, and we could just about from where we were in our chairs see Sam Fender over the fence and into the tent. Not Sam Fender, Sam Ryder.
Okay.
And he sounded amazing, actually. In retrospect, I wish I'd gone down there to watch it at the tent, but it was still really cool to just hear him.
I think he clashed with someone else we were seeing, but yeah, he is all jokes aside, he's a really, really good vocalist.
Really, really talented.
And he seems like a proper sound guy as well.
And I think he was just bloody happy to be there. So
we saw the Magic Gang, who I only knew a couple of songs of, but they're really, really good. To be fair, I spent a lot of this weekend going, they've got a song on FIFA, and the Magic Gang were no exception.
Do you know what? FIFA Festival would be unreal, wouldn't it?
It would be good. And I mean, the Sunday was very much a FIFA festival because after the Magic Gang, we saw Inhaler, who also have a song on FIFA. And then we basically just stayed like right near the front of the main stage. We saw Easy Life after that. We have a couple of songs on FIFA. And then the final headliners to finish off the festival, who have songs on FIFA, Kasabian. And you know what? They were a really good time.
They were very, very good. I'm not massively into Kasabian, but they started strong, they ended strong, and I was perfectly content to watch the rest of it from afar and just say,
Serge did
nice
a great job as like the main frontman as well. Like since the other guy got booted out, So just kind of stepped up from being guitarist to kind of half guitarist, half front man running about. And he did a really good job. He had a great stage presence, I thought.
Yeah.
And again, a mix of some newer stuff, some bangers, some songs you know from video games such as EA Sports, FIFA.
Any sort of overall closing thoughts?
Well, overall, although this has sounded like incredibly negative and critical, I had a really good time. And again, all the things that I've mentioned that weren't so great are really easily fixable.
Yeah.
So hopefully they can sort it out, and I'm sure they will.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. You know, also if people don't give this sort of feedback, then we'll just have shit-filled toilets again next year with no
Well,
shame.
yeah, there's no point in us going, it was great, guys, keep up the good work.
Yeah.
If there's stuff to criticise and stuff that can be improved, then it's got to be mentioned, otherwise nothing's going to change.
Yeah, and we've enjoyed all of our festivals this season, but there's always room for things to be
Always, yeah.
better. And maybe this one...
we've criticised download for
Yeah.
stuff. We've criticised trees in this one as well for stuff that can be improved. So it's not that we hate truck or anything. We all had a great time.
It was nice. It definitely, like I said at the start, like a sort of hometown pride that like a little indie Oxfordshire festival could bring in that many people was amazing.
I mean, Kasabian.
Yeah,
that's huge.
That is huge. Yeah, just think about what you've done and fix it. But you can watch vlogs from all of our festivals, and that is Slam Dunk, Download, Outbreak, 2000 Trees and Truck, all on our YouTube channel now. We've got recap podcasts for all of those where we break down what was good, bad, and ugly about each one of them. What else have we got going on, boys? A main podcast every month.
I thought James was about to re-enter the chat.
You gonna?
Go on,
We've got a podcast every month where we talk about the latest news, music, and trends in alternative music. We do a series called A Perfect Gig, where a guest comes on each episode and books their perfect 4-band gig.
We might have some interesting guests coming up soon. Just keep your eyes peeled.
Regularly scheduled gig vlogs will be returning now that festival season's out of the way. Just subscribe, please.
We're doing
I'm so desperate.
We've started a fun thing on Spotify as well called RAGAMUFFIN Radio, where we recommend some songs that we've been listening to and get you to listen to them.
Yeah, good plug, Dan.
Thanks, mate. I'll
Great
do my
outro,
best.
everyone. Is that it? Are we done?
I think we're done.
We're done.
Oh, time for bed.
That is it. Festival season is officially over.